Wait. And we're live. I believe now we're live. We're live with the West PA Hype Show. I'm Perry. You might know me as Perry Pines from 1021 Bigfoot Country. I'm also playing as NAFCo president today. And with me is somebody from the play Little Women, the Reitz Theater, the professor in Little Women, Andy Benson, right below me. Howdy, howdy ho, Andy.
Hello, thank you.
Yay!
Thank you for joining. And then Adam, we'll go all the way across the screen to me. There's Adam for Ma Filmworks. He is just the least avatared person, but at least it's clear, unlike Paul below him, which is a blurry mess. And then you have Michael Gaffner with me, also for Ma Filmworks. Right. Paul, everybody here is a member of NAFCo, Northern Appalachian Film Collective, besides Andy from the Reitz Theater. Glad to have you here. Now, let's talk about what the Reitz Theater has going on right now, which is the play Little Women. As you can see by the banner down below, it is screening 7 p.m. this Thursday. Today's Monday. It'll be presented 7 p.m. this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's your second run. I've had the pleasure of seeing it opening night, and so we're here to talk about this thing with Andy, who's in the said play.
Is he a police guy now?
What was that?
Is he a police guy now?
Are you a police guy? A professor?
Played a lot of professors and doctors. I think 1 or 2 cops. Yeah, chief of police.
No, I'm talking about Clue. I'm talking about Clue. Last time I saw Andy.
Oh, from a couple episodes back, you're referencing. Chief yes.
Yeah.
Good for Andy. He pulls off multiple roles. But Andy, so talking about that play, and for what can people kind of expect there with that one? Because a lot of people might think, well, it's just kind of this play about some young women. It doesn't really do anything. But I found this to be something I've never seen this before. I was completely unversed in the screenplay, and I just sat down there, kind of just blind, and I found it to be, there was a lot more comedy. I'll say as Christopher Columbus, there was a lot more comedy than I thought there was going to be.
Yeah, it kind of runs the gamut. Little Women, it's a musical, which is based on, of course, the classic novel from the 1860s by Louisa May Alcott. It's kind of in the pantheon of great, American literature. We have 11 people in the cast. It is a musical. And really, it follows pretty much the story that you would find in the novel, with some changes. There's been a lot of film adaptations over the years. I actually haven't seen any of them. I kind of wanted, like you say, I didn't read the book. I've read a lot of the ones, all of the classics whenever I was younger, but I did not read that book, and I have not seen any of the adaptations. I knew some basic points of the plot, but I kind of wanted to go in a little bit, cold myself. But essentially, it is about a young woman named Jo March, and
can you just hold on 1 second? Is somebody typing right now vigorously, like Mike, maybe?
Oh yeah, because mechanical keyboard.
It's it's all just. Thank you, Mike. If you just hold off on that, continue on, Andy. I just wanted to make it sure so that way people could hear you.
The plot of Little Women concerns Jo March and her 3 sisters. Her mother is also a character in the musical, and some other people who come into their lives, neighbors, family, friends, love interests, etc. And really, it's a story about coming of age, about how this protagonist, Jo March, learns to, deal with different aspects of life, love, loss, womanhood. Really, it's a very good character study that, like you say, I know that some people might not be looking at it like, oh, why would I go see this? Really, it's got something for everyone. On at face value, yeah, it's probably a little bit more adapted for women to see, but that doesn't mean that men cannot enjoy it. It's suitable for all ages. There's no, content restrictions or anything like that. It's very much a timeless story about a woman's search for her identity and where she fits in the world.
Sorry. I really got to replace this microphone, and I think that might be coming in the next few days. But I'll say this too: great date night thing to do. I mean, that's what I did. It was Valentine's Day. It was opening night. Brought female to the thing. It's a great date night for guys out there looking for something to do. Honestly, that's a good one for this weekend if you got nothing to do. Also, the weather's bad and it's indoors. So it's nice because you get to sit in a heated building and get some entertainment that you wouldn't otherwise see other places. It's just something I think it's a good time.
I know there was a few aspects you said you enjoyed. What was your review? I mean, like you said, you went into it kind of cold. What did you
I
like?
think. I will say this: the pit. You guys did have an actual orchestra pit there going on, as the Reitz does, because what to expect there is that they kind of just make do with the space that you guys do a good job with the space that you have. Actually, it's amazing the way you guys cram a pit in, because it
can
is
be difficult. Yeah, but
it's cool. But I think you said his name was Stephen Provost. He handled percussion.
William Penvos, actually.
Penvos, sorry about that. William Penvos. Repeat that again. That way,
his name's William Penvos, yeah.
Thank you. So, his chimes were very fun. And I know that sounds like so ridiculous, but it was like I kind of wanted my own set of chimes to be like, and I want to take it to my job at work as a DJ and just be like, and that was Truck Bed by Hardy. And just kind of go through the chimes. I can't do chimes with my mouth really, but he actually, it was just so satisfying. It almost was kind of like for nothing else, it just felt like it was the way he went up through the whole scale and kind of back through, I guess. I'm not a musician, so I'm not really sure why. It just felt so satisfying, something about the way he was working those chimes throughout the play.
Well, it's very pleasing to the ear, for sure. I mean, if you hear it. But also, each orchestra can bring something unique. Sometimes they're a little bit bigger, sometimes they're a little bit smaller. We don't usually have that particular instrument in the repertoire necessarily. We'll have percussion and drums and whatnot. You kind of have to. But that was sort of a thing that, was very much a stipulation of the score. It requires some of those flourishes, which is very nice.
If I could ask a question here, where do you find your orchestra at? Because that's actually a fairly difficult thing to source all in one spot.
It is, yeah. I mean, we have a pretty good pool of musicians who will return, quite often to utilize their talents and their skills. We've had some music teachers who have led our orchestras as music directors, again, for different shows. And they often have a pool of talent. Sometimes they're former students, sometimes they're retired teachers, sometimes they may be local musicians who have standing gigs at a bar or a restaurant or, in some band. And, we've had guitar players and bass players and drummers who have done that. But a lot of them, are very much committed to, to helping in any way that they can. So oftentimes when a musical is selected, or at least being thought about, the first thing you have to think of is, okay, what size is the orchestra and who can we get, who might be available this time of the year, etc. That's typically where they come from.
Have you ever run into an issue with that where you guys have to kind of work on your feet and change around music or use built-in audio? I know that's something that, recordings and whatnot.
I don't know that I can recall any emergent issues or sudden things that may have happened, but there have been times when we've opted to use what we call canned music, which means we don't have a live orchestra and we just have it, essentially from the tech booth where lights and sound are taken care of. We will also have, playing out of a computer system. You can have an actual electronic score, played that way. You're not having actual instrumentation. It's always better to have, at least in my opinion, it's always better to have, a live orchestra. Now, sometimes in the past, the orchestra has been kept either built into the set sort of on stage, so they're kind of there with you at the same level, or even back in what we call the piano room, which is a room right off backstage where, props can be kept and different things. They all present their own unique challenges, but really having them out in front is the best option. It's not perfect or ideal, but they make pretty good do with it. We all do.
Awesome.
So is there anything more to talk? I want to give those details, but is there anything that we haven't been talking about with this that you'd like to talk about? I mean, I will say, okay, here's a thought. it was interesting to see you sing, Andy, since this is a musical. I don't think I've ever been to one where you performed as a musical. Good job. Thank you very much for performing for us. I appreciated that. It's always interesting when you see a friend sing that you've not used to seeing actually sing. And
I'm okay. I'm confident. I mean, I can pull certain things off, but there's a lot of people better than me.
Well, Andy,
you noticed that's something. What's that?
real quick, what's next after Little Women?
Well, okay. Well, sure.
Yeah. After Little Women, in early to mid-April, the first 2 weekends, I believe it is, we have a murder mystery called Death Trap. That's actually a classic play. I believe it was first written in the 70s at some point. I can't remember the year, but Ira Levin. It was made into a film in 1982 with Michael Caine and Christopher Reeve, actually, if you would like to look it up. There's some differences, I think, in the plot, but Death Trap is a very small cast. It's only 5 people. They just put the cast together last week, and it's very well known for having some twists and turns and some surprises. So it's a typical murder mystery in some ways, but it also kind of turns the genre on its head. It'll be interesting.
Awesome.
That's interesting. I mean, the movie had Batman's butler and Superman working together, so...
That's actually right. Yeah, I forgot about that. I can't recall his name. I know Alfred Pennyworth was the character from Batman, but I don't remember who played him.
Kane did.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Christian. And then.
That's right. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's right. That's exactly right. Yes.
Yep.
What do you got there, Perry?
This is your guys' program, which is barely coming through because my background replacement software wants to kind of replace it, sort of. Anyhow, it says Death Trap April 4th through, and then again, April 4th through the 6th, and then that's going to show April 10th through the 12th there. So that's looking ahead. That's your next looking ahead here for the Reitz Theater here beyond Little Women that you can clearly see below us when to catch Little Women here on the banner below you there.
What I would tell people, anybody considering coming to see one of the last 3 performances of Little Women, primarily, again, I know we've talked about the plot a bit and how really there's something for everyone. It's suitable for everyone. I would tell people that the young women in the cast, in particular, Remy Osselborn, who plays Jo March, and of course the girls who play the sisters, Shaylin Brubaker, Easter Slimick, and Payson Preston, who we've all seen before. They have fantastic voices. They're wonderful singers. They really bring their characters to life. I mean, they're a very, very good group. They're tremendous singers. And also Abby Flo, who plays their mother. Her name is Marmee. A very endearing character. She has a beautiful voice. She does a great job. Laurie Stewart and Carrie Trapana, they round out the rest of the females. They have great voices too. So it's really a very female-heavy show. I mean, the men have their things to do, as you saw, but really it comes down to very strong female characters, great voices.
It does. I actually said too, the main character of this, which Jo, right? Jo March. She, with Remy Osselborn played at Spunk. The character itself has a lot of spunk. I don't think that's really spoiling too much because it's like right in the opening. Is just to say that like it's like she's supposed to be kind of this classier girl. This is easy plot stuff than how she kind of behaves, and she loves to put lots of blood and guts into the stories that she tells. Like because she's an author and she loves writing about blood and guts, and I like that detail. She just can't stop writing about blood and guts, and it's just like what a kind of a teenager problem to have. I would say because I kind of get the vibe it's supposed to be like somebody in their late teens or maybe early 20s at the most.
Yeah. She flaunts the typical conventions. She defies the conventions. She's different than everybody else, basically, which is good.
If I could ask, for people who are thinking about joining as an actor for the first time in their lives, what's an audition like? What's the process of getting the call back like? What's it like when you see yourself for the first time on the call sheet?
Typically, they have open audition. I mean, they always have open auditions, and it goes up and down. Sometimes we get a lot of people. Sometimes we might not get so many. But we always seem to make do. You'll see a lot of people, in multiple shows. Like, I mean, I'm of course one of them. But it's always nice when we get people who it's either their first time or maybe they haven't done it for years and they're coming back, and again at different ages. That's always lovely. But really, we have a couple of days of auditions, typically 1, 2, maybe 3 days. If it's a straight play, non-musical, you're usually given pages from the script to read from, or maybe a script itself, and you're told when to read and what parts to read and who to read for. With a musical, you might do some dialogue stuff, but really it's about you come in with a song prepared or some kind of piece of music that you would sing, sometimes with accompaniment, but often just a cappella without anything else. And then there's sometimes people are called back to do it again if you're trying to narrow something down, but a lot of times once is enough. And then usually within a few days we have a list prepared of who is who. Okay.
Do you have any tips or tricks for people coming in for the first time? I know there's a lot of nerves and just a lot of brain power used on the negative stuff. Oh my gosh, what if I mess up? What would be your tips or tricks for just going into it?
I would give the advice to people that if you've always thought about it, it can be a very interesting experience. It can be a lot of fun. Everybody should try. I think everybody can do it if they put some effort into it and try. And again, a lot of people have to get over their own, get out of their own head and get over their own nerves. That's easier said than done. But I try to tell people all the time. People will say to me, and I think I've told Perry this before, but people will say to me, "Oh, I could never do that." And we're talking whether it's a play or a musical or whatever. They just said, "Oh, I couldn't be on stage." And I say, "Yeah, you could. If you gave it a shot, I think you'd find that you could do it." Some people, what's the old line? People the number one fear is public speaking. And the number 2 fear is death. People are more afraid to give the eulogy than they are to be the guy in the box at the funeral. So,
yeah.
But I would tell people that you got to give it a shot. And I think I have told people that before, and some of them have listened to me and tried it and found out that they liked it and that they could do it.
All right. Awesome.
I really appreciate that line about public speaking. They would rather be in the guy in the box than the guy giving the eulogy.
I think that's a Seinfeld joke. It's not original, but I thought that was good.
Yeah. That's gold. I don't remember it, but I like that.
Dead. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Well, for your talk too about the little insight too about what to expect for young people, or really, it doesn't have to be young people. Really, anybody that is interested in getting involved in community theater. I'd like to move on to the multi-filmmaker project that we have going on with NAFCo. This is us kind of announcing it to the public to some extent that we are, as NAFCo, the Northern Appalachian Film Collective, we are seeking filmmakers that would like to join us as a part of producing a script together. We would give you like a scene to up to like a quarter of the film, depending on how many people we get. If we have 4 filmmakers on board, it's in quarters. If we have 20, you're all getting like one scene. And basically, we are looking for them, and it's supposed to look jarring between them, between the different scenes, and supposed to showcase your own talents / even your own equipment versus kind of the others, and less of a competition rate, because some people will come on with maybe even a Sony Handycam, and then some people might come on with some Panasonic rig that's like really awesome over the shoulder kind of stuff, or really nice equipment. So we're encouraging filmmakers of all varieties here to be a part of this thing, and I'd love for anybody to reach out to us. You can reach out to us at the NAFCo Facebook page. That's probably the best way to get in touch with us, is to go to the Northern Appalachian Film Collective Facebook page, or even NAFCo Film Collective is a Facebook group that's also very accessible, and that's NAFCO Film Collective. That's the public group. And then the Facebook page, Northern Appalachian Film Collective, the whole thing spelled out. Now, with that said, though, we are very new on this project, and a lot of the people here are currently writing the script, actually. And we're not
writing the script, we're writing the outline.
You're writing the outline. We are working towards a script right now, for us to all, as filmmakers, collaboratively work on. Now, and that doesn't just mean me or Michael or Paul or Adam or Andy. I'm talking about like you watching this as well. If you'd like to get out a camera and help make a film and be a piece of something, and you can be a piece of a feature length, please contact us, because we're looking, and we're not looking to charge you to be a part of this. We're just looking for the volunteerism and / help by you making your own piece. And kind of the idea too is that each filmmaker might only have to spend a weekend or two making this thing, and then you're a part of a feature. And we're planning to also like have in like the lower corner like your like name, like, you know, what production studio or director there, a credit there, so that way when the scenes come up, you know, it's very obvious to the viewers, you know, which director and which crew is making which section of this thing. So it's meant to be a collaborative project. The working title's been art by committee, and it's supposed to be almost a tongue-in-cheek reference to just the concept of art by committee itself. I think we had it in the outline process. What was the other working title we've sort of more recently had, though? But that gives you some history of the mindset we have, though, to say art by committee.
It's Cold Outside is the working title.
We have another, we have a more, now that some creativity's been pumped into this thing, now we're looking for It's Cold Outside right now, which it's very cold outside. I want to actually speak to... Yeah. So I will speak to... What was that, Paul? I don't think anybody could hear you.
No, It's Cold Outside is the working title. Because
yes, you got that.
That can cover a lot of things, so in a collaborative way. So
true, and primarily looking for people from Pennsylvania, if possible. If not, though,
we've already got one.
Still apply.
We've already got one group interested down in Florida too.
So there you go. We might have somebody where it's a little warmer when they shoot. It's been very cold here. Negative 4-degree wind chill today here at my place. I will say that, commenting about the cold. And yesterday, this is a redo episode. Yesterday we tried to do this episode, and my power cut out about 2 minutes in. We've since deleted it because it was like useless content. But I was basically like, here we are with the West PA Art Hype Show. Boom. My power. Then it just boom. No power for 8 hours. I had power outage for 8 hours. Didn't come back till 2 a.m. for me. So shout out to Penelec for getting the power back on. Also shout out to Penelec for letting it fail. That's not a shout out. That's a shout at. Okay, I thought I was funny. There, I'm giving myself Okay. We already mentioned too, upcoming shows for us. NAFCo doesn't have an upcoming show to present. Look towards the summer is what I want to say for NAFCo events. We do have some stuff brewing in the summer. It is too early to say really anything to it right now, because we are talking, and I will just give this much, we are talking early August for our next event. We plan to have another one of these before that time. We're trying to aim for quarterly, and we'd like to get more community theaters involved. That's what we're looking for this. So look towards April for there to be another episode of the West PA Art Hype Show. That's when you're going to see another run of community theater plays too around, including Death Trap from the Reitz Theater, also other theaters such as the Cass in Clearfield. I'd like to have them a part of this thing. Warren the Warren Players up in Warren Struthers Library Theater up in Warren, I should say. Love to have them a part of this thing. And anything else? I guess also Little Women. Go see Little Women. That's the biggest hype we got right now today. Little Women, Thursday through Saturday this week. $20 a ticket, by the way. That's what it costs to get in the door. $20 a ticket. It's on Scribner Avenue in DuBois, Pennsylvania, if you're not sure where to get to the Reitz Theater. 7 p.m. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And with that said, is there anything more that anybody wants to say before we wrap this up?
Little Women is worth it for the singing alone.
True. I was actually very impressed. Your lead, I can see why they got the role for sure. I want to say that. All of them, it counts for, but I She definitely got that on merit. Put it that way.
He's wonderful. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if there's nothing more, I think we're gonna hit the show here on this one. Hit the end button here. Going out with a little jazz action.
Thanks for the
That's
time.
good end music here.
This is when the talk show